All right, so here's the follow-up video to the one that Pam did. This is the one everybody's telling me that Materna is commenting and bringing my name up in, so I figured I might as well. I guess I have to record this one too. So here we go. I haven't heard this yet either.
A sniffle, sniffle, sniffle. I got a bit of a sniffle going on here. But I did forget. Since you seem to be a friend of Cray Cray, I did forget to ask you, ma'am. Have you seen her scope, ma'am? I will indeed. Okay, yes, I think I can do that. Ma'am, Miss Terry, darling, have you seen her live that she did at the mall with her little grandbaby when she was sitting on the massage chair? Mm-hmm. Did you see that, ma'am? Mm-hmm. Now let me ask you this, as long as we're speaking here about racism. Are you aware of what has transpired in the last several months about people doing blackface? Yes, that's a concern. I mean, many people did it back in the 50s and probably into the 60s because, well, they were just ignorant, I guess. It was something people did without regard for people. They did it out of ignorance. But ma'am, my question to you is, do you think somebody dressing up like an Indian, what's the word? An Indian squaw? An American Indian squaw? Corn, feathers, garb. See, I think that we would probably all agree that that might be like blackface, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it there, Terry? Terry, do you think someone dressing up making fun?
This is Karen Pettit, Materna's new account.
Did you think, ma'am, that would be like blackface? You getting up, you say, darling, that was your friend Cray Cray that did that. We could play that for you. Has she taken it down off of her YouTube, ma'am?
This is Karen
It was
Pettit,
disgusting. The things she said and implied about the American Indian squaw. I see many Native American tribes who get very upset now when people like Pocahontas over there, that Miss Elizabeth, claiming she's well, a mosquito. But I don't even know now. I know, Miss Karen. I'm amazed. I forgot to address these two things because this woman, now I'm going to retract calling her ignorant, okay? Because a lot of us lived on this street and we believe these stories. But when you aren't seeing all the facts, ma'am, have you seen that YouTube? I mean, this is just disgrace. And yes, ma'am, I stood with those people that I have shunned now. Yes, I do. I did, darling. I stood with them that was racist and uncalled for, and that was nothing but a heathen making fun of a race. So you say, I think I just needed to enlighten you about that. If you don't have it, we'll do. But we won't play it. You know why we won't play it? Because we will not play into the shameful racism that has gone on over there. No, not with the lady that you're sitting with, darling, on the porch. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, again, let me tell you, your husband's right. You shouldn't even be involving yourself in this, darling. Now, if you want to know the truth, you need to go way back and watch the truth as it played out. See, because you can't come in and say, what you did to their children. We've done nothing to their children, ma'am. We didn't go out on the street of Pecola, Oklahoma, set up a new YouTube channel to attack a school district and a principal and all these things. You aware about the court hearings? Ma'am, I think that you have been, I am going to retract that you are ignorant, ma'am. I'm just going to say that you've been led astray, ma'am. But I will not retract that I won't stop doing this southern accent until you all stop portraying yourselves as decent human beings. Because no one, ma'am. Yeah, old school. Ma'am. Terry, ma'am. Decent human beings don't get up in a blackface in today's society to harm and discredit people of another race. But that also don't put on an Indian squaw outfit and make fun of that heritage either. Now you say, as much as I dislike those people I have shunned and I'm trying just to ignore it all, I will still stand for their rights as it is. And they do have freedom of speech. But you know what? When we speak of freedom of speech, we need to speak about morals and ethics. And ma'am, did you think it was really ethical to come out and say that you hoped that this young black man go down there to Colorado to visit this young woman and that he raped and killed her? Did you think, is that ethics and morals that you follow, ma'am? Is it? You see, these are the problems I have. There are things that should never be said. And when you're going to sit there, now, ma'am, when you're going to sit there, yeah, that's good people there. But, you know, those are the same people. Now, Karen, let's go back, okay? Because we got a lot of new people coming in and understanding these scopes. You know, these are the people that sit and say, oh, we're Christians. Oh, God's going to destroy you. Blah, blah, blah. They're quoting the Bible by skipping verse and not. I mean, Lord, you know, when I was doing my Bible presentations, it wasn't to harm people. It was to help people understand God's Word clearly. Now, Miss Tara, I think it's time you sit down. I mean, you know, well, I'll open our scopes so you can see every one of them. And maybe as you begin and you start wandering through what's happened, what's really, really happened, because you've not been in my scopes. Or Karen's, or Judy, or Tracy's. Who else? Miss Shauna's. You know, and I want to clarify this because this is the new narrative now. I want to clarify that Miss Shauna and I had a falling out, but I love that girl, okay? Now I see, now let me clean this up for you here. Okay, I see these people who said, oh, I love you, Shauna. Shauna, you should be proud of your photograph. Shauna this, Shauna that. Oh, Shauna. We love you. Well, you know, ma'am, it's just like a couple that gets divorced. At one time, they loved one another. But there's always one of the two that comes out, and I mean, generally speaking, there's always one of the two that'll come out and speak very badly about the spouse, the other one that they're divorcing. And see, to me, that's kind of rhetoric. It's just rhetoric that makes no sense. Because you love that person. There was some quality about that person. There was something that you loved about that person at some time, or you wouldn't have been with them. I hope. So that's where I have a hard time when I've heard these people speak about Precious Shauna. See, now I was angry. Oh, yes, I was. I was angry with her, she'll tell you. It took us a little while to get past that. It did. Some of the things she said. Yes, there you are. There's one of those stories, Miss Terry. How about the lie that Shauna sent panties to a 14-year-old boy? How about the lie from Joanne saying, was it Joanne? It was, right? Saying, oh, she had heard stories about her, oh my, and her thing about little boys. Pardon me as I choke on those words. Despicable. When Hillary Clinton spoke about despicable, she must have had all these people's names in her book. But I believe in the worthiness of the Lamb. I do. I do. And every time I listen to Martin Luther King, I should probably do that on a daily basis to focus myself on what is important in this world. Look at the things, Karen. This woman cannot possibly even know the half of it. What she is hearing is what she's been told. And sometimes, Miss Terry, pay attention here very closely. They're not quite telling the truth, darling. See, they'll tell you something, but they're not telling you everything. You're coming after people's children, regardless of their age. When you're sitting, mocking, and making fun, but then claiming that you are a Christian. Every Christian knows our place is not to come out and attack people. No, it's not. It's not. Not like the LGBT community. Not black people, not Indians, not any culture, not any heritage. In Acts, in the Bible, you will find where the Lord clearly says, we're all of one blood, man. I remember a time when we were speaking of the 60s, yesterday when I did my scope, I forgot to mention that. But I can remember, it's stuck in my head, the controversy. When people would go to the hospital and need a transfusion and refuse to take the blood of a black person as if that life-saving blood was going to be tainted somehow because of the color of their skin. See, there was ignorance full-blown. Just like the blackface, just like that woman, Tammy Craycraft, doing a scope on YouTube, doing her live on YouTube, dressing up as an Indian squaw, making fun of that culture. See, you can't. Oh, and 9/11, I can't even touch upon that. That's a fragment of insanity right there. Wishing people had died in 9/11. Wishing buildings would fall
They're
on
actively
people.
going to people's periscopes.
They're
They're actively going through scopes of other people. Now they found these black guys trying to throw some racism thing, I guess. but they're actively trying to get people to target. And some of those black guys, one of them happens to be here in Ohio. He's in Akron. But this is the crap they're trying to pull now again with their crowd targeting. I like I said, I've been off this since almost right after Thanksgiving. Been hearing about it, but this is ridiculous.
And one they described the death of somebody driving her car off into a river and drowned in the car, not being able to get out. I mean, it was very descriptive.
Like make anybody
they were having.
She's bringing my name up again.
I don't know. I can't even. I mean, I try not to think about people dying. Hallelujah. Keep your life intact. But that, ma'am, is the word of Satan. To have been able to describe to a very degree her even taking her last breath as the water flooded into her car. I mean, did you hear that, Scope Man? See, that might be my problem, is I just don't think you have. Oh, awful death. Awful death. I don't care how much you dislike somebody. I mean, I have disliked people in my lifetime. No doubt about it. Felt they were useless. And you see, here I am. Terry, pay attention, darling. Do you hear me? I'm shunning these people. But I'm not coming on Periscope now and describing how I want them to die. I don't want them to die. I don't. I want them to turn their lives around and be better people. That's what I want. Fundamentally. I think you're a little confused, darling. And I think if you just take those two things I was speaking about, just take the one. See, there's no humor. You can't say something is comedy. Yes, decapitated. Have the building fall down. Oh my Lord, Karen, I tell you, when I hear this stuff, and then he did that thing about the dog. Oh, God. No, it's not comedy. It's not even decency. We know that. These people have continued to do what they are still doing today for over 20 years, Terry. We have shown the proof, man. Even down to where they attacked a preacher, a man of the cloth. So we don't, you see, this is why, Miss Sherry, I have stopped addressing them, and this is why I am on this campaign of shunning. Because the people who do this are not moral and ethical. These people, I read the shunning information yesterday, about evil. You have to shun the evil. Do you understand how Job did it? Are you a person of the Bible? Are you a Christian man? I'm guessing you probably claim to be, but I think that you need to get up there to the pulpit and speak to that minister or that preacher or that pastor or that priest or whoever you answer to in your church, man. And just tell him briefly of these things that have happened here, just briefly. And where should your stand be, man? See, I'm sorry, but I think that your husband is correct. Your husband is correct. Well, I do. I think if you look over, so you can't, and we're not doing that here. You see, the new people, they've only seen this one little blink in time. You know what I'm saying? They've only seen this one little blink in time. They have read what these people have said. They have heard what these people have said.
They didn't hear anything what those people said. Notice that.
You see what I'm saying?
So they're actively recruiting and
They're
finding
not
new
coming
people.
for the years of this brutal
See what I mean?
indifference that these people have shown. No, they have not. That's not what they're coming for. But you see, there's one thing we have that you don't, which is documentation, man. Now, y'all just need to calm yourselves down. You know, calm your happy ass down, sit down, and just hush, hush, dear. When you don't know what exactly has done. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, when you're feeling that, what is that word we use? That when you're feeling that alcohol braveness coming through you, you shouldn't really come out on the scope and put my name in your headline, man. See, I wasn't going to respond to you. But then I realized there were a lot of people probably like you that are listening to the half-truths and the lies. See, you can say, I can tell you, this person is this and that and the other. But when I offer you no truth, then what have I done? You say? $16 an hour. Oh, darling. My minimum wage now is 12. Yeah. Won't work for $16 an hour. Lord, that's a lot of money. It really is. For someone without a profession or higher education, $16 an hour sounds good to me. You know? Probably sounds good to a lot of people. True story, I guess. That I don't know. But this lady needs to go. Fools everywhere. I don't know who you are, sweetheart. Okay. I don't know who you are, but I will follow you right now. I don't see you making scopes, but, y'all just need to calm your happy asses down. I think that's the point we're at. You need to stop this racial indifference for sure. You can say what you want. You got freedom of speech. Who are you speaking to, simple and honest? It's the book of Proverbs. And really study. Really? What does the book of Proverbs tell us, simple? You want to tell me? Right now, we're concentrating on the Psalms because we know that David was God's chosen. And we're getting his attention by praying over the Psalms in our prayer groups. Do you have a simple, you seem to think that you can tell me what to do here, and that's perfectly fine. You have your right to freedom of speech. But how many prayer warrior groups are you in, ma'am? How many? How many are you in? How many times a day are you praying with other Christians for this country, ma'am? For our president? How many times? How many times a day are you weeping over the losses that are coming? How many words can you quote from Martin Luther King Jr.'s preaching? Or from his presentation? When he would stand. Can you tell me how many people were on that bridge in Selma? Can you? How much do you really know about the history of this country, ma'am? I guess not much. I guess not much. Yes. Are you? Do you really? Really, that's lovely. I bet you do. I bet you are. And so you're praying for the country, aren't you? For 2 days, I could barely breathe as we were praying. Then, ma'am, don't be coming over here to tell me to read Proverbs, okay? Because Job said it very clearly. The Lord, our Heavenly Father, has told us very clearly that we must shun evil. And that, ma'am, is why you too will probably get shunned now and blocked on my feed. Because really, you're not going to come into my scope and be a nosy Nelly and come in and tell me what to do, just as you couldn't do it under clink clink biatch. So see, when you come in and you lie, you're just like all the other heathens, aren't you? So we'll do you that favor, ma'am. Here we go. Let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can do. And, goodbye. Oh, yes. Yes, goodbye. Goodbye,
And now all of a
darling.
sudden they're
Goodbye.
talking about the Martin Luther
And
King
that's how
trying to
you
get these
handle
black
them.
Israelites and black
You say
people
you can't.
and trying to convince about other people are racist.
Okay.
When I've shown tons of videos with these
Yeah,
people,
it
especially
is.
Shauna
But
and Gina and the rest of them with their racist
I know
comments.
people don't understand.
Unbelievable.
I didn't do it, Karen, to exonerate anyone or to embarrass anyone or to scorn. But there are many people who were not alive in the 60s. They don't know what it was like to turn on that 6 o'clock world news and see young men dying in the street. You know, I was a young child, very impressionable at that age. And I remember those things, those images, they just stay in your head. And like I said, from that day on, my daddy nor my mama used that word ever again. I think that some of that problem was like with Cleo and Ernie having been friends all those years, and it was difficult to see that beautiful family. But I think back then people used to say things and they didn't mean it as derogatory as it seemed. It just seemed to be what it was, We have come so far. We've come so far. And I keep praying that these young men stop using those words and those terms as well. I understand why they do it, and I accept it, but I pray that those boys, those young men, that they just stop using it. Because it's not the kind of love that I want them to be showing to even one another, I hope that they all go and listen to the Martin Luther King Jr. acceptance speech. I guess I felt I made a mistake maybe not playing it all so they would understand. Because, see, I think there's a lot of things that we have not shared with them, my generation. We just assumed that things were better and they would continue to get better. And we didn't sit these children down when they were children and say, here it is. We briefly spoke about all of the people who were protesting but we didn't give them a glimpse of those images. And what rises up inside of me every time I see those images in my mind, yeah. Well, but I think they show that in certain places. I know during Black Culture Week or whatever they call it. I mean, yes, a month or whatever. And it's like, but I don't know. Yes, right. But my question is, Karen, I presented 3 things. Lyndon B. Johnson, Martin Luther King Jr., and Robert Kennedy. I mean, there was a change there. Things changed quickly. Yes. Things change so quickly in this country. And it was a tempest for sure. And now I feel that again sometimes when I hear these young men speaking. I don't want them to not feel that I just don't want them to feel this way. And that might be my new mission in life, with all the other things that I have. But I think if they listen to his acceptance speech, they would grasp an entire new philosophy, actually, of who they are and where they're going. But anyway, darling, I gotta go. I mean, we all know these things, but when you hear those words and you hear him pause and you hear him stumble over his words, right, 69. I mean, when you hear him pause and him going on about what the future is going to hold, the man, I used to say he was there before his time, but he was on his time. But his time was stolen, was stolen. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to tell you to read Acts, to understand. We are all of one blood. We are all of his blood. It matters not. If you are a strong Christian, then you have to react to that. Right? Oh, that's cute. That's sweet. He wrote so many great papers, Karen. And these, it's when someone says to you, I know. No, you don't know. Because if you knew, you wouldn't be acting the way you are. That's my feeling. Every time I hear him, my heart fills with love and for my fellow man. If you're a Christian, we're all brothers and sisters. All of us, even the non-Christians. And it was hard. But there is a difference when people want to be evil. When they want to be evil and start describing the death of other people. People who really, they're never going to meet in their life. When they want to threaten people. And now the new thing is, it's not a threat, it's a promise. Really? Then we see you don't uphold your promises either, and that's probably the problem in your family. Stop trying to look like you're some kind of gangster on the street, some kind of thug, because that's the way you act here on Periscope. I can guarantee you you're going to be answering for that someplace. You know, we already know, and I'll say it again, about being wiser and using that wisdom and stopping, not listening to the devil. Because he's going to get you there. But remember to extend to 11 minutes for the police to arrive, on average. Yeah. $16 an hour. Times have changed, ma'am. 16. Yeah. Cold and hungry. Well, I do recall someone saying the child was already crying, but I think that someone needs to be concerned about that. Lying. Saying, yeah, I know. Lying. Saying, contacted the child's doctor. Really? That's an interesting story you're telling. You see, Miss Cherry, those are the problems there are. The lies. See, that's the problem I have. There's no sense telling a lie or making up a story when the facts are there. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. I think my first check for an entire month, minus the deductions, I think I had $271 for a whole month's wages when I first went to work with the state. $271, that was what I cleared. Of course, they took my retirement money out, Social Security, taxes, whatever. Yes, $271. Most people spend that now at the grocery store every week. I dare say my car payment was $75. It didn't leave much more left. Of course, gas was a lot cheaper. Yeah, I know. It's funny. Hi, Jan. Good morning, darling. So, these things I just don't understand. In my best southern voice, I'm depleted. I am. I'm so concerned about these people. I don't even think they know what they're doing. And I feel, yes, yeah, $40. Yeah, we're full time. I think the state said it was like 22.225 or something. Is the way we averaged it out. That's funny. 22 days a month. Full time, 8 hours a day. Yep, funny. It is funny. I don't know how we got here. That's one of my questions. How did we get here? You know, our minimum wage now is $12 an hour. That's a lot. It seems like a lot, but everything else is just going up and going up. I don't know. Anyway, I can't even think of it, you know? Yeah. Ooh, I know. That's why we didn't go, because there was, you know, back then in my day, there was no, Yep, 3:35. I was back even further. That's pretty funny. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I need to go. I need to get going here. Disrespectful. I think that $16 an hour seems to be a fair wage. You know, I know I told the story about my brother. I tried. You know, I really tried. I did. A number of times to reach out and make some sense of it all. I guess when you're dealing with bitter and hate, evil, you just can't get through that barrier. But I have faith in my Lord, and I know that He will get through that barrier eventually, one way or the other. That's all I know. Yeah. Well, we seem to have added a new usual. Yeah, because I'm shunning them, actually, Jen. So I'm just trying to dodge the bullets as they keep flying. I don't know. It's a sad situation we have here. The lies and the stories being told about people. See, trying to, and that's the thing. It's like trying to destroy somebody's reputation. Because basically, when you take somebody's reputation and you're trying to troll upon it, you're doing it because you envy that person. You see, for those people that I have shunned, they got no reputations. Their reputations are already scandalous, actually. There's not much more you could add. I see a happy ending to that. I see them pulling up their bootstraps and getting in there and going, becoming good citizens and changing their ways, Anyway, I'm going to get going. Now it's almost 9 o'clock and I gotta go. I gotta go. You hear me? Can't be late. All right. Love y'all. Be blessed today. And think of the positive, Think of the positive, people.
People are so fake. But it's nice to see that they finally admit the fact that they've been going to other people's scopes and trying to draw them in and only giving them little bits of information about other people, not the things that they have done. It just goes to further prove the whole building of basically a digital army of people to crowd target other people. And that's exactly what they're doing. They just admitted it again. And of course, Paterna could not leave my name out of her mouth. Still has to bring my name up, just like always. It's ridiculous, pathetic.